Hi, Esty. So we are super excited for this one. We finally were able to get Bree Mesquit on our podcast on Esthetician Edit. A lot of you have been asking for her, especially that time when I put out like a poll. And I was like, oh, who do you guys want to have as a speaker? Who do you want to see on our podcast? And everybody was like, Bree, Bree, Bree. And I'm like, okay, we gotta get Bree on here. So you have a lot
So
of
cool.
fans.
Oh, I love it. Well, I'm a fan of each and every one of you as well.
Yes. So most of you do already know, but if you don't, Bree is the owner of Lash and Wax as well as
Rebel
Rebel
Wax.
Wax. So we're just gonna go ahead and let you introduce yourself and just kind of talk a little bit about who you are, how you've gotten started, where you're at, and then we'll get right into it.
Okay, awesome. Well, I'm Bree Mesquit, and I am the owner of Lash Wax OC, like they say. So I actually was first client focused before I ever even thought about getting into the whole product space. I've been an esthetician for 13 years now, and I've had my own product. We launched our first product in 2020, so we're still fairly new to the whole product game. And then I'm also an educator for waxers specifically as well. So how it kind of came about with our product was I've always led with solving problems first for myself and then realizing a lot of the problems that I had, others had as well. And then it just naturally turned into a product line. So we launched our wax pads. We were first to market vinyl wax pads, and then our Rebel Wax line as well. So yeah, that's kind of like a high level overview. I don't want to get into like everything, but I do have a background in European Wax Center, which is usually kind of a hot topic for us waxers. A lot of people start off at European Wax Center, and then in 2017, I decided to go solo. So I've been in business for myself since 2017.
And you do have a podcast, right? Because I've
I
seen
do.
you behind the mic. What's your podcast called?
Yeah. So we have it's the Rebel Show. This is actually my set for it behind me that you guys can see. So
Thank you.
we just launched episode 45. So we've been almost to the year mark. So we launch every Monday we do a podcast episode, and then on my YouTube channel every Thursday I have a demo for waxers as well.
That's so
Wow, that's
amazing.
amazing. Congrats on reaching there.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been great.
Yeah. They say a lot of people don't make it past their 20th podcast.
Yeah. And then
Yep.
to make it, you're supposed to get to at least 100.
Oh my gosh. Is that okay? Now I have a new goal. So
That's what they say. Like if you don't make it to 100, then you're like you go downhill from there.
okay, that's really great to know because our first goal was 21 because I heard that statistic about the 20 mark. But now I'm like, now what? So I've been kind of shooting for like the year mark, but 100, I love it. That gives me
100 it is.
55 more episodes to go then.
And
That's
just
awesome.
going a little bit more into what it is that you said that you started with a lot of like customer service, client satisfaction, those kinds of stuff. I know that you're really, really good when it comes to that. So can you just kind of give us a little bit of a background with what you went through and what made you realize why you should react the way that you do?
Yeah. So okay, first, like, was when I was in the treatment room, I'd say, working with brands as a consumer of these brands, right? So purchasing wax, purchasing supplies for myself and my business, the customer service just always really, really lacked. And like I'm just so big on customer service and supporting brands, companies, businesses that provide excellent customer service. So I was kind of disappointed from that like perspective as a solo waxer, and I was, purchasing supplies. Then what I started to realize though was as I gained more notoriety on social media, and I started landing some brand deals and ambassadorships, then all of a sudden they treated me fantastic. But
Yeah.
the people that I was referring over to them weren't getting the same treatment. So I knew for myself that if I ever did, and I didn't really have in my sights at all to actually create a product line, but I just knew that that's something that I never wanted to make other people feel. So every single person, so how I started was every single client that came into my salon, I wanted to make sure that they left feeling like a queen clean. I didn't care if they were coming in for a nose wax that cost $8 or they were buying a 12 pack of Brazilians. I wanted every single client to be treated the same way. And then fast forward to now having our own product line and like starting to go to your guys' trade shows and everything, which we absolutely love. I wish I would have gotten started going to them a lot sooner. I just noticed I had an opportunity in Miami because I was a speaker and we didn't have a booth. I was actually able to walk around, and that's where that one video came from of we're walking around and no one ever came and greeted us. And I'm like, it was very eye-opening and great for myself and my team to see that this was the kind of the normal experience of a lot of attendees. And I wanted to make sure that no one ever felt that at our booth. And anyone that walks by, it's a rule for ourselves and our team. We greet everyone. We do our best as we get to know people, call them by name, and like build those relationships and connections. And always just leading with that is so important in everything that we do, whether it's in the treatment room or with our customers who purchase our product as well.
Yeah, that's like the same thing I was telling Anastasia of my experience going to like one of my first trade shows as an esthetician as well is like you're overwhelmed usually, and you also are afraid to ask like stupid questions because a lot of what the exhibitors are selling, like they're selling like a product, but there's a lot of science behind it and there's a lot of information and stuff like that. So sometimes you're like a little bit, just embarrassed to ask questions and stuff. So I really love that you guys have that rule because I'm sure you get so many more attendees coming to your booth that way.
So it's our first show. We had no idea what to expect. And we laugh looking back because we felt like we were like little swap meet pop-up booth. Like we had like these little plastic, like it was funny. It's fun to look back on and see how much we've grown. But anyways, our booth was just like popping the whole time. And we were so overwhelmed. We're like, this is amazing. And other booths were coming up and like, how do you guys do it? How do you do it? And like, I can contribute it too. It's about the overall experience and how you make people feel. That's like what it comes down to is how do you make people
Actually just had, I don't know if you were able to listen to it. I know it just came out last week, but we just did a trade show talk with Danny. Where we talk about like trade shows and like what happens when you're on the floor and all that kind of stuff. And we pinpoint basically everything that you just finished saying because it's really true. Like because we were able to go to a trade show as like normal people, right? Not like ours. And we're like, let's go ahead and test this out and see how it goes and see the way that people react. Because a lot of people don't necessarily know who we are just yet. They think that we're attendees because we kind of mesh with them. And the way that the responses that we would get or the reactions that we would get were not at all what we expected. So honestly, for a lot of people to do what they do, they need to like change it up really quickly if they want to see like those results the way that you get the results.
Absolutely. And I think it's so important to like, I love that they don't know who you are. Like, you should be treated the same regardless if they did or didn't. That's like, and that's what I see too much of is like these influencers or whatever being treated really well. And I've even been on the receiving end of that, but then like others not. And it's just, I think it's really important to treat everyone when they come to your booth, when they come in your treatment room, as if they are like the Queen of England, because you never know, first of all, who they are, but also you never know who they know as well.
Yeah. Well, I guess this kind of fits our theme for today because the topic is about like how to elevate your client experience and not just attract clients, but to keep clients. Because I feel like you see a lot of information out there, like how to attract clients, but not how to maintain them. And I feel like as solo estheticians too, a lot of us, I mean, if we haven't come from like a luxury spa and stuff, we don't really know what goes into that client experience. Like I have noticed the best estheticians are the ones that have worked at the luxury spas because they just have like they pay a lot of attention to detail. So I don't know if you can kind of you gave us a little bit of like, saying hi and greeting and really getting the person in through the door. But like once they are through the door as a client, what are the key elements that just elevate their experience?
Ooh, one of the things I really love to do, and I train my team at our waxing studio is to utilize the note section on your booking app. So like anytime I have a conversation with a client, like say they tell me about their daughter who has a water polo like match or whatever you would call that, I don't know, game coming up that weekend. I'm going to make note of it. 13-year-old daughter, water polo, like ask about it. So the next time they come in, hey, how was your daughter's water polo? Like building that connection. So that's one thing that I love to do is take notes on some of the conversations we have and then follow up and ask like very personalized questions. It's not, they can't sit there and be like, oh, she just says this to everybody, because it's like very personal to them. That's one of the things. And then consistency too. I feel like a lot of us go so hard on like getting those new clients, making a really great experience for that first time, but then it can kind of start to sizzle off as they become regulars of ours. I think staying super consistent is really important too. And really those two things alone, like utilizing those notes and staying consistent with the experience is huge. Also, I have to say, mistakes will be made sometimes. Recently, we had our booking system like kind of it must have gone down or something, because we did not get a notification about a client who booked with us. So we no-showed a client. It's not about my staff was like freaking out. She was like, oh my gosh, like I don't know how to fix this. I was like, hey, sometimes things just happen, and it's about how we respond to them. We can turn a negative into even an ultra positive. So I personally reached out to both the client that we no showed and the friend that referred her, and I apologize. I did not say, oh, it was my booking app's fault, this or that. I didn't try to place blame elsewhere. I took full responsibility, let them know this is not how we wanted a first impression or an impression of our business at all. We're very sorry, and I would love to offer both of you a free service if you would allow us the opportunity to try to re-earn your business. So just taking full ownership when mistakes do happen and holding yourself accountable to the same policies that we put in place for our clients. If I'm going to go and charge a 100% no-show fee, if someone no-shows an appointment, then I better be holding myself and my staff to that if we do the same thing to a client. So I think it's really important that we do keep that in mind too, that mistakes are going to be made, but it's all about how you respond to them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And how can estheticians build long-term relationships with their clients? Of course, what you just said definitely marks one of them, but what would you say others might be?
I definitely think knowing really their pain points and their goals are super important, and being able to keep on track with those and helping them accomplish those. And then also like keeping updated on that, because goals and things can change too. So just having an open line of communication and doing little check-ins with your clients, especially people who you've been seeing for years, like things can change. So keeping up with that for sure. Yeah, I mean, I feel like just you kind of naturally build relationships after seeing people on a monthly basis. You're going to build those. So having, if you aren't one to have the natural like gift of gab or being able to conversate well with people and making people, I would say putting a lot of effort into learning good communication is going to be really important for estheticians as well. Learning how to ask people about themselves. Not always, I see a lot of people make the mistake too of kind of like dumping their own personal stuff onto clients. And it's hard, it's a hard line to balance, because you do build that relationship and they're going to naturally ask about you and your life as well. But to know where to kind of like break that off to where you don't want to be making them feel like anxious about what you've got going on too. Like share, but like no one, it's you got to keep that professional line as well. I feel like there's definitely a lot more to this, but that's kind of first
But
things
you
that
can keep going. I mean, up to you. What you think is like, we don't want you to give all your secrets away either.
yeah. Well, and then there's little things too, like knowing when your client's birthday is, like utilizing these things on the features and stuff on these booking apps. Like I use Gloss Genius, and I love that I can put in their birthdays and all that and send out little thank yous. Also, something that a lot of estheticians sleep on, and one of the first things I have any of my coaching clients do, is utilizing email marketing and sending out weekly newsletters to stay connected
100%.
with your clients. Like it's huge. No, I have
I
not
feel
had
like
one
that's
coaching
something that,
client that
yeah,
uses it.
I feel like that's something that you can totally speak on, because based off of our last podcast where we did talk about, like, as for example, like we were talking more about exhibitors rather than attendees. I know that this is more for like attendees, but a pinpoint that I feel like you really are good at and you're able to touch on is promoting yourself, how important it is to promote yourself. How a lot of people ask themselves a question like, how can I get this client back? I had them come one day and then they never came back. Okay, did you follow up? Did
Yep.
you send an email? Did you send them a text when on their special day? Did you
Yep.
maybe send them a 15% discount code for the next time they come? Like incentives, promotions, all that kind of stuff is super important in a business. If you don't do it, you're not going to get anywhere.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, like, what do you feel like as an esthetician is like based on your analytics? I mean, I don't know if you could give this as information. Like, what are the best type of emails that your clients respond to? Like, are they like blog posts? Are they promotions? Are they offers?
Yeah. So, okay. When it comes to clients, I'm still testing the waters on this. I've nailed it when it comes to the product space, but for clients, I do a lot of just giving like tips locally. So one of the ones that did really well too, honestly, was promoting other beauty professionals. So like, hey, I know you guys love us for your waxing, but I'm sure you're looking for a great hairstylist. Or maybe if you're looking for an awesome place to go get your nails done, like here's where a few places I recommend. Here's a new Japanese restaurant that just opened up and it was delicious. I tried it, so you don't have to. And I 10 out of 10 recommend it. So like very locally focused and just giving. If you know your audience or your clientele is mainly moms, like, hey, I just took my kids to this new trampoline zone this weekend that opened. And of course, you're going to put this in newsletter form. You're not going to be saying it how I'm saying it right now. But we tried out this new trampoline, like, highly recommend. They do a deal on Tuesdays from 3 to 5. It's half off. Like, just give.
Yeah, you're not gatekeeping. You're just
Yeah,
sharing everything that you get. Yeah.
Yeah.
exactly. So anything that they are interested in, just give information. Also then teaching, education. So educating them about the best way to prep for a wax, or like, hey, you guys might have not known this, but having caffeine before your appointment can really heighten the discomfort level. I hate using the word pain, but things like that too. Or, hey, we're coming into spring. It's the perfect time to get started on your waxing journey in order to prepare for summer, and here's why. So like educational and like just giving is what does really great, I've noticed.
Yeah, I think people are sometimes like afraid to overgive, or they feel like they need to kind of like keep everything and price everything. But honestly, like it builds so much trust between you and the client before the client even walks into the room. They kind of feel like they already know you. And
Yeah.
I mean, I've been working with a mentor and posting a lot for like the past 3 months. And I have now clients from like 3 months ago that were like kind of looking at me now booking. Like it does take time. They do have to feel like they know you before they come to see you. But like, for example, I had one, she drove an hour just to see me.
Wow.
And that just goes to show like my content, she felt like she
Yeah.
could already trust me. So I
Yeah.
feel like trust, like the experience should begin even before they come to the treatment room, like on
100%.
social media. Yeah.
And
So
that's
you're
why I
good.
tell
Yeah.
Mhm. No,
You're
no,
good
no.
on social media. Do you have any tips for that?
Well, first of all, you hit on it, consistency. Like you got to just start, like stop overthinking and just get started. And it's a volumes game. So like putting out as much as you can, seeing what works, and then do more of that. So I like running through of like the more better new framework. So the last on the list on purpose is new. A lot of times we don't need to do new things. We need to do more of what's already working, or what's working, it like improve it, do better. So I try to
Mhm.
do that first, and just it's just a volumes game. It's consistency. You can't overthink it for the longest time, because at this point, so 5, 6, 7, 8, so it's been 8 years of me on social media, like consistently, like taking it seriously. I force myself to just post and then not rewatch it, because if I rewatched it, like I'm like, why does my voice sound like that? I sound like a weirdo. Or like,
That's
why
what
do I
we
make
do all
this
the time.
facial expressions? Like you start noticing these things about yourself, and I would delete it. But like, why? Like you can't edit yourself in real life. I do these motions and whatever in real life. Am I going to just tell someone, oh, wait, actually, can I start over? Let me like take back that hand gesture. Like you just got to show up authentically. And like you said too, you're bringing that experience that you know you're going to provide for them in the treatment room on social media, so they in a way feel like they've already experienced it, and then it's very converting. Then you're taking away any of that like hesitation to click that book button, because ultimately that's what we want people to do. So you got to give them as much of that experience that you're going to provide as possible up front, because people are scared of like the unknown.
Yeah. And on that note, speaking on you, when it comes to your new clients, how do you make them feel comfortable and welcomed?
Yeah, well, a lot of it is what we're putting out on social media. So I'm very, very clear on what my clients' pain points are. And for waxing specifically in Brazilians, I know that they're really nervous about being judged, and that their body looks a certain way. So we're always talking about that. We're always talking about just normalizing the experience and the stretch marks and cellulite and the hemorrhoids and all the things they're worried about, so that they know like this is just super normal for us. Like we deal with this on a daily basis. So first of all, getting super clear on their pain points is huge. And then just being overly communicative, like walk them through everything. Like I greet them and by name, like, oh, are you Ashley? Like, nice to, I see, I have you down for a Brazilian. Like, I'm so happy. I've been excited to meet you. Like, build that up and then walk them into the room. Here's where you place your belongings. You're going to undress from the waist down, lay down on the treatment table, head up this way, like over what we would think is over explaining. But for them, it just takes out any guesswork, and they want to be guided through the whole thing, especially as a new client. Because then people get really nervous and they're like, I don't know, I've turned around when I didn't learn to do this yet, and people are laying flat on their stomach for a Brazilian wax. And it's like, but like that was my fault because I did not clearly explain and give like proper instruction. So that's
It's
a big
definitely nerve-wracking. I remember when I did like I laser now, but I remember when I used to wax. Oh my God, I would literally be sweating before even entering the room because you're
yeah,
just thinking of like, okay, I know this is gonna be painful. Oh my God, I'm gonna cry. Oh my God, what happens if I do this? Or and then you start breaking out even more than
yeah,
you already are, and it doesn't make the
exactly.
experience any better.
No,
But definitely when the times that I have been on the treatment table, like having that person guide you and talk to you, if anything, like don't stop talking because
yeah.
you talk, then you're not thinking about it.
Yes.
So then you
And
don't
please do not count down before you pull the strip. Oh my God. The worst. Just freaking get it off, pull it.
yeah, don't do that. Or just act like you're gonna count down, but then like be ready
Exactly.
at like three.
On the two or something. Yeah. One, two. Yeah.
Catch them off
Yeah.
guard.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And I'm good too at like those awkward, what people feel are like awkward moments. Like, for example, everyone sweats on the treatment table. Like it just is what it is. They're like, oh my gosh, I'm so sweaty. I'm embarrassed. I'm like, girl, you're burning calories. Make sure to like log your Fitbit. And they're like, oh, like I like to make humor out of some of those things too. And but it's again, it's like it's a volumes thing, because I've been doing this so long that it's the same. When people do knees to chest, they always make a comment about their hairy legs or their poorly polished toenails. Like I've heard it so many times that like I already know what's coming, and like then you can create kind of like your scripts. I don't like not scripts, but you kind of like already have
Yeah.
something like in the chamber to say and kind of like ease the tension, you know. So,
Yeah, you're not making it any more awkward. You're like ready to go.
exactly,
When
exactly.
you created like your pain points for your client, did you kind of create like an avatar of like what your ideal client is? Like how detailed do you get on
I get
that?
so detailed. I like their hair color, eye color, like are they married, not married, kids, how many kids, what are the kids' ages, girls, boys, what's the kids' hair colors like? And the reason is because when I'm then talking to the camera, I have this person and their life envisioned in my head. So I'm not talking to an audience of, 1,000 or however many followers whoever's watching this has. Like I'm not talking to 1,000 people. I'm talking that one person behind the camera. And what happens is the person on the other side of the camera, it stops the scroll and it's attention grabbing because they feel I'm talking directly to them. With this though, does not mean I'm excluding anyone outside of that like profile. You're naturally going to also attract clients outside of that profile as well. It's just like it helps me with my marketing, my pricing, like, and just getting clear on their pain points. But you'll attract others too. I always love to give the example. My business coach I'm working with right now, he's like a man's man, like he's a dude, and I'm a chick in the beauty industry, and I still hired him for business coaching. So it doesn't mean we're excluding anybody.
Yeah, because I'm a newer esthetician, so I did like the whole creating the avatar, the pain points, and it's funny because now the people that I notice that are booking me are not what I expected.
Yeah.
They're actually so like it's funny when you come up with an avatar, you kind of create yourself in a way because you put
Mhm.
yourself in the position of being the client.
Yep.
But I noticed like I'm getting a lot of older clients,
Ooh,
and I
okay.
think it's because my niche is the buccal massage. So I do like a
Mhm.
lot of
Ooh,
TMJ, like tension stuff. And I
yeah.
just feel like the older clients are the ones that have the most stress and also are the ones looking for more like sculpting and anti-aging treatments is what I offer. So
Yeah.
like, is that something that can just be reworked over time as you start to see the people that come in?
Absolutely. So what I love to do, especially with my coaching clients, is like I have them create their avatar, but then a lot of times I ask them like, is this who, if we could multiply this person times 100, every single one of your clients was this person, is that what you're looking for? And a lot of times it's a no. So then I have them like, all right, it's time to rework. Like maybe every 6 months, kind of take a look at it. But I like to have them envision one of their clients they currently have that they would want to replicate 100 times over, and then just kind of create their avatar based on that, and then ask that client and any client that's like them tons of questions for like some market research so that you can really figure out their pain points is the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing. You have to know what their pain points are because that's what motivates the actual purchase. So yeah, I
Mhm.
think having it is just getting started with it and like basing it off yourself because you don't have, if you don't have a clientele yet, and then rework it probably when you're new, do it in like 3 months once you've had some clients, and then from there I think just reviewing it on like a 6 month even to an annual basis is going to be really beneficial.
Okay. And then do you go get treatments done yourself still? Like I feel like a way that I learned to like elevate the experience is going to kind of like for example, I got a buccal massage like a
Yeah.
week ago. Like I try and see.
Mhm.
What do you think about that?
I like that. No, I think that's great for sure. I don't go anywhere else for waxing really because now I have my studio. So I have like my employee do my waxing now. But I used to go and I would go to some local girls. And yeah, actually that's a really great point because one of them that I would go to, and she was a customer of ours as well. She purchases Rebel Wax, but she would do like this eucalyptus warm towel at the end of the service. I'm like, that is brilliant. I, as a consumer, as the client, like love this. So it was something I considered implementing for our services as well. I didn't just because I don't want all the laundry associated with it, but I think it's very cool. But I get a ton of other services done. Eyelash extensions. I did have hair extensions. I took those out. That's been a fiasco. My nails, like, yeah. So I totally, and sometimes too, it teaches you what you don't want your business to look
Yeah.
like, how you don't want your clients to feel. So I think it is important. It's very valuable.
And have you had any experiences with like, which I'm sure you have, with bad clients? And if you have, how do you um go about that?
Yeah, I've had a couple times when I've had to like fire a client. And I just like shoot a text or an email and just let them, I like everything to be in writing. So that's why I like it to be, a text at minimum. So it's in writing. But usually I just position it of, I don't feel like we are the right fit for one another. I'm happy to provide a few referrals in the area. I kind of just leave it like super black and white, like point blank. I don't get into the argument back and forth with them. It's just, I just kind of, it's just black and white. So if it's something that's extremely disrespectful, or makes me feel unsafe or makes any of my employees feel unsafe, then they're not someone I'm willing to take as a client anymore.
Yeah. So I do want to move on a little bit into like the trade show world. Because I feel like, yeah, I want to like pick your brain with that because you're so good at it.
Oh,
Um, if you were to give like any advice to just attendees in general for coming to the trade shows, like not only ours, but just in general, any sort of trade show that has to do with the industry, what would you say like their reasoning to go. Like it's like, it's not like a yes or no, it's a yes, you have to go, but why?
Yeah. Well, okay, for me, so I've only been to a trade show as a what would that be?
Exhibitor, you're a vendor.
Yeah, thank you, a vendor. But for Miami, I did get to walk around, so it was very cool. But what I see as super valuable, and I wish I would have started as an attendee, especially when I was new to the industry. First of all, just getting around others in the industry is huge because a lot of times we can be on what like I call it lonely entrepreneur island. And it's like, there's no one else out there struggling with these things or understands me. Yes, there are. You just got to get in front of them and around them. So, first of all, the education provided is really huge too. And then I think it's so great to be able to like have that face-to-face interaction with brands because I know for me personally, I'm looking at the quality of the products, the pricing, if it makes sense for my business, but also the people and the company behind the brand as well. Like their character traits, how they treat their customers, their values, like that's really important to me as a consumer. So what better way to like really to have experience with that than to get face to face with some of these brands as well. So I think from very minimum though, the education, just the experience overall is huge.
Yeah, for sure. Because how many, do you know how many workshops we have? It's like, I think it's like over 50, right?
Yeah.
I think we have like
Wow.
50 workshops, which those are, as you know, those are sponsored by the exhibitors, the vendors. And then we also have the conferences, which those are purely educational. And we do that on purpose so that, half of the audience, most of them go to the show to purchase specific products and to learn specific techniques for that company. But then you also have some people who just come purely for education and they just want to learn, whether they're new, whether they've been in the industry for years. And Sam does a really good job at every single year picking, new conference speakers with like different topics to make sure that aligns with like this year's trends and all of that kind of stuff. We're super
Yes.
excited to see you soon.
Yeah, me too. Thank you guys.
And
Thank
thank
you
you
for
for
having
sharing
me.
all of your knowledge with us.
Congratulations on your podcast because this is awesome. I enjoy listening in. So
Thank you
Oh, thank
so
you so
much.
much.